A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the online class of Computer Science class 11th. I hope all are healthy and fine. I would also like to congratulate all the students for choosing this subject, and I assure that it would help you in many ways in future. So without wasting our time, let's start with the content of our syllabus. Okay, so when we talk about our syllabus, the very first thing is that there are total 17 chapters in our syllabus. The very first chapter is Computer System Overview. This is completely theoretical chapter. Then your data representation, again theory chapter. Boolean logic, theory chapter. Insight into program execution, again theory chapter. Then introduction to problem solving. So up to here you will be having all the theory chapters. So basically your first 5 chapters are completely theoretical chapters where basically you are going to understand about computer system, what computer understand, or what are the basic things that we need for making the programs. Okay, then after your first 5 chapters we'll be starting with the programming language, which is Python. So now what you have to understand that in your syllabus you have Python as a programming language. Previously we were having C++ language, but now as per CBSE it is compulsory that in all schools we are running, or CBSE is running Python as a programming language. If we talk about advantages of Python, it is very popular language this time, and there are many sectors where Python is used. Okay, the most important thing is Python is used these days for every sector of computers basically. If you think of artificial intelligence, if you think of programming languages, if you wanted to do website designing, you wanted to do ethical hacking. So for so many things Python is used. So therefore, because the range of the Python is very wide, therefore it is widely accepted, and this is considered as one of the most popular language of this generation. Okay, so we will be having Python language. Our sixth chapter, getting started with the Python, will be having a basic knowledge of Python. Then some Python fundamentals will be there, data handling, flow of control. Then after that, string manipulation, list manipulation, tuples, dictionaries, understanding sorting. So up to 14 chapter is everything based on the Python programming language. So basically our practical sessions we will be doing up to 14 chapter. Then again 3 more theory chapters, that is your chapter number 15, 16 and 17. I hope this is clear to you that how many programming chapters we are having and how many theoretical chapters we are having. Fine. Okay. So let's start with the chapter. As we have discussed that the very first chapter is Computer System Overview. Now see, basically, as per this particular chapter, you have to understand the very basic things of computer system. We have already done so many things in 10 up to 10 standard, but still when we start with the 11th standard, we always believe that these all are the basic things and every student must know before starting or before beginning the computer science. So when we talk about the very basic things of computer, the very first thing given over here is the introduction. Now when we talk about the introduction, you should know the very first thing is what is computer. This is the very first thing, that what is computer. Everybody is using computer these days. But when we talk about the definition, it is nothing but one electronic device. Okay, it is an electronic device. See why we are saying that it is electronic device, because it needs electricity to perform its task. Okay, so we are saying that it is electronic device, and what we do with that, this is electronic device. My writing is not so good, but still. Okay, so it is electronic device and it performs 3 tasks basically. First is I stands for input. Then second is P stands for process. And third thing is O stands for output. So basically what we can say, let me complete this. This is electronic device, and this is responsible for performing these three tasks: input, process and output. Now what is this IPO? Input, process and output. See, whenever we want anything to do in the system, first we give is the input. Input means nothing but the raw material to the system. Then on the basis of that raw material, computer is performing the processing task. It means it is doing all the calculation part, and then after once the calculation part is done, then it is showing us the overall result, which is called as the output. I hope the meaning of computer is clear to you. Then next we are having is the what is hardware. Okay, now when we talk about a hardware, again very common thing, the physical component of computer system, whatever you can see, whatever you can touch, you can feel, is called as a hardware. For example, monitor, for example mouse, for example keyboard, these all are called as the hardware device. You can see, you can touch them, you can feel them. Okay, so these all things are called as the hardware part, or we can say all the physical components of the computer system. Then next we are having is software. What is software? Now these are nothing but a sort of programs which are installed or which are stored inside the computer system in the memory part. Okay, we can see these but we cannot touch them. Okay, so these are nothing but the programming part, or the applications, or the softwares, or the programs which is already stored in the computer system, and which is basically used for performing the programming task. Okay, then next we are having is sorry, next we are having is the component of computer system. Now see, this is very important diagram that you should know the structure of computer system. Okay, as we have discussed IPO, so here you see input device, as I said, this is I part. Anything over here, maybe your keyboard, your mouse, which is used to give instructions to the system, all those devices are called as input devices. Okay, then your processing. Okay, for your processing part, we are using one unit which is called as CPU, or central processing unit. I hope all of you know that CPU is also called as brain of computer system. Okay, now inside this CPU we are having control unit, we are having arithmetic and logical unit, we are having primary memory. If you will see these arrows, with the arrows you can understand this is bidirectional. This communication is bidirectional. It means we can store the information in the primary memory from the CPU, as well as we can retrieve the data from the primary memory to the CPU. Okay, and from the input device we always transfer the information to the CPU. Okay, then again with the storage devices, it is given that CPU is connected, and then the next thing is the last arrow shows that whatever data has been processed will be stored in the output device or the output part. So this is how basically the complete structure or the communication goes on in the system. We always send information or input from the input devices, then it goes to the CPU. CPU will process the data, it will store the data on the temporary basis on the primary memory, and once this is done, then it will store either the output in the secondary storage, or it will store or it will display the result to the output device. Okay, now when we talk about CPU, you can see over here one is the control unit. Over here this is given, over here is the control unit. Now what this control unit do basically, it controls the overall communication of the computer system. Okay, it means actually it take care that how the data will flow, how the information will go from one part of the computer system to the other part of the computer system. So basically for the successful communication of the information part, this control unit is responsible. Then we have arithmetic unit and logical unit. So all arithmetical calculations and logical operations we are performing inside CPU only in this particular part, or we can say ALU is responsible for performing this particular task. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now the last topic of today is basic computer organization. See, in our previous slide we have understand about the component of computer system, that was nothing but the physical structure of computer system. This is also called as, this computer organization is also called as the logical structure of a computer system. Means logically how the systems, how the devices or the units are connected with each other is indicated over here to you. Okay, so first of all, this is your CPU. Let me write over here. This is your CPU. Again, CPU stands for Central Processing Unit, or it is the part of, it is the brain of computer system. This is input unit. This is output unit. Storage unit. With this memory is connected. You have to understand that how this communication goes on. This is one bus. Now see, buses are nothing but the wires over here, which are basically responsible for transferring the information. So logically what you have to understand, that all these input unit, output unit, storage unit, memory unit and CPU, they are using the buses for sharing the informations. Informations can be your data, information can be your the address. Like suppose I wanted to store something, so at which address I am going to store anything. So for that I need two things. First is the data part that I wanted to store, and second thing is at which address I wanted to store. Okay, so via buses we are circulating or we are transferring the informations. Okay, again you can see inside CPU three things are given. First is ALU. ALU is again your arithmetic and logical unit. Second is control unit. Control over here means control unit only. Now this is something new, that is registers. In our previous page we have seen that was the primary memory given. Here it is given registers. Registers are nothing but the memories inside the CPU. Okay, inside the CPU, the memory that we used is also known as registers. These are very fast memory, so that the overall processing speed of the computer system or the CPU will be also very fast. So these, and plus this is also the type of primary memory. When we talk about primary memory, we have four types of primary memory: RAM, ROM, registers and cache. So generally registers are placed inside the CPU memory. I hope this is clear. And this basically, this memory is nothing but your secondary memory. Okay, so and this storage unit, both are generally used for storing and retrieval of the information. Okay, and buses, all these buses are responsible for carry the data part or the address part or the control part. I hope this session is clear to all of you. Thank you so much. God bless you.